There's a lot of protest, lot of unrest, and in fact, there have been lots of incidents of violence.
Mm.
Uh, I think we need to understand this in a lot of context. One of the most important thing for me to say is Nepal embraced democracy about 20, 25 years back, a long time earlier, but about 20 years back in a very big sort of a manner.
Mm.
The people in Nepal, more than a quarter of the population is overseas, and I'm not just talking about India, but all over the world. So therefore, there's a unique kind of empowerment among the people, especially the young. There's a kind of understanding of globalization. In this context, it is particularly important for political leaders to have their ear to the ground, to be responsive to what people need and what are their aspirations. Now, there has been a series of problems. After COVID, Nepal hasn't been able to recover very well. There is unemployment. There is general frustration among the youth. There's a feeling that the old guard politicians are just continuing their deciding among themselves and going on. In the midst of this, when you do something as drastic, which is so important for Nepal, which is essentially shut down social media, obviously people will come out, they will protest. And then I think we should agree that there was a mishandling of the situation, a truly very badly handled situation. Can we say that the buck can stop only with the officials? The answer is no. Nepal is a relatively small country. The happenings triggered off in Kathmandu, in the heart of the city. The responsibility has to be taken politically. And the answers also, Naman, in my view, is political. You engage with the people. You have a sense of empathy for them. You understand what they want. With around 19 deaths already confirmed and maybe more, about 100 plus people in hospital, it requires not just empathy, but they also require a degree of accountability. And it's need to assure people that what they want and what their requirements are, not just lifting the social media ban, but accountability. That shall also be assured. This is the need of the hour for the political leaders in Nepal.
Mm.
Isn't a relative stability. And I say relative stability, the country has political instability almost built into its political democratic electoral system. But a degree of that kind of stability, how is it something that won't have benefited others? Now, we can keep making these things, but I don't want that too much. Remember, it started from Kathmandu. There is good communication systems in Nepal. People are able to reach out to people across. There is a kind of camaraderie among the people. So when this ban happened, a degree of frustration was to take out. People came out, the groups became larger and larger. All the college students, etc., got together. And let's also remember, you mentioned Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Frankly speaking, people in Nepal, the young people are aware of what happened. So was that a kind of encouragement that yes, you can do it? Perhaps yes, why not? But it also shows that democracy is alive in a very interesting sense of the term. It shows democracy is alive, that people shouldn't be taking things in their own hand. But that's because the politicians are not listening. Isn't that exactly what happened in Sri Lanka, what happened in Bangladesh? Myanmar, of course, is a case apart in all of this. Politicians in democracies need to remember you need to keep a very good finger on the pulse and you need to understand, especially those who are critical and who matter to that. And for Nepal, that's young people in Kathmandu. Remember one more thing, Naman. There were mayoral elections in Kathmandu some years back, and it wasn't Mr. Oli's party that won. It wasn't Mr.
Mm.
Sher Bahadur Dioba's Nepali Congress that won, but an individual, Balan Shah, who was an ex-rapper. He won with an overwhelming majority. And so this particular thing is something that the politicians needed to well aware of, be empathetic, and I believe that the engagement of the political class requires, of course, people are talking about change, etc. They need to engage with people with empathy and an understanding. Delivery is not so easy. It's very easy for us to talk about that I'll wave the magic wand. Can you wave a magic wand and have a GDP increase? It doesn't happen. But can you somehow give people the feeling that we understand you, we work for you? And you're absolutely right. And this happens across the world, isn't it? The so-called MAGA phenomena in the United States, similar kind of thing at a different level. What's happening? Look, there's no doubt that Nepalese politicians are rent seekers. And so why should their children not be doing what they are doing? But let me say something to you. over the last 20, 25 years, 30 years, Nepalese have spread out in the world. Today, remittances to GDP ratio, Nepal is among the five highest in the world. Nepalese have become much more globalized, which is why the social media counted their ability to have WhatsApp and FaceTime interactions, etc., because their own relatives, near and dear ones, are outside. And that was very important. Money has also come into the economy. Many people have traveled outside, and I don't mean India, I mean across the world in lots of places. So these ideas have come into Nepal, into the population, into the people. And that's something very interesting which has happened in this country, which under the monarchy had literally no exposure to globalization. In fact, till the early 90s, passports were a rarity as far as Nepal was concerned. And now, as I mentioned, 25% of the population is outside. And this is the major change. People are expressing their frustration. But, to say that there'll be no benefits, no, that's not true. But, just because I've got a benefit, that doesn't mean my aspirations, my feeling that you haven't done more for me is not there. That's certainly the case. And too long, the same political establishment continuing. Yes, one person goes, another one, but the same set of people, frustrations growing. COVID made Nepal realize in a very serious manner that its economy just relying on remittances was not such an easy task. All of these are difficult aspects. Frustrations are coming out. But the need of the hour at the moment, in my opinion, is political sagacity on the part of leadership, what they do, change over, etc. They need to understand the mood of the people. They need to understand. They need to engage with the people, and they need to calm the situation. Accountability is also particularly important. That's the nature of a well-connected and relatively homogeneous society that we are talking about. And I'm really referring to the Pahadis in Nepal, because we know the Madhesis are as much, 50%. But the guys who matter in the sense are the Pahadis. They believe this is their country. And this is happening to them and their young people. They are reacting in a very, very negative manner. It's important for the political class to address that, assuage them, be accountable, and, be mature in doing what they have to do. Naman, I am nobody to give anybody any advice. This is a polity which has been sagacious. After all, haven't they seen change just 20 years back? The youth have a right to ask for greater abilities, more aspirations, etc. It's important for the political class to understand these aspirations, understand what is being asked. They need to be accountable. There has been a very serious issue. These 20 plus deaths have not been noted in Nepal, even at the time when the monarchy was removed. So it isn't a simple matter that, this kind of things happen. No, they don't happen in Nepal. And it's a society which is a society where people have empathy for each other. Empathetic, realistic engagement with the people is the need of the hour of the political class. They need to do something. If it means changing themselves, that's up to them. But this now has to become a process in which the people and their aspirations are also well accounted for, and they have a feeling that they
Reasons just now. But do you think there is much more than what meets the eye? Because can there be a conspiracy from foreign land?
See, I don't think so. I think this is, there are very deep seated root causes within Nepal as to why this is happening. So, this is a homegrown issue. It should have been handled better by the political class in Nepal. So, but obviously, within Nepal also there could be elements that are trying to exploit this for their own purposes. And whenever there is instability, there are always attempts to exploit that instability for whatever objectives people may have. But fundamentally, this is a homegrown situation. It is a movement of Gen Z, of young people. It's a kind of leaderless movement. One doesn't really know who the leaders are. Although today, people like Balen Shah, the mayor of Kathmandu, have joined this movement. Former Chief Justice of Nepal has joined it. A former head of the Nepal Electricity Authority. These are very popular people in Nepal. He has also joined it. The situation today has really been, one could never have imagined that such a situation will occur in Nepal.
Do you think this has some resemblance with what has happened in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh?
Oh, absolutely. This has very much resemblance to what happened in Bangladesh, what happened in Indonesia. The students have taken really the situation into their own hands because they felt there was no hope. And one of the reasons for this is also, see, the two big parties got together to form a grand coalition, the two largest parties. And the rumor in Nepal was that this coalition has been formed because leaders of both the parties were under investigations for corruption by the previous government. And so to stop those investigations, they formed this coalition. And then they arrested one of the very popular leaders of one of the other parties, one of the newer parties, who has incidentally been released from jail today by the protesters. So I think, there was this sense that nothing is happening in the, within the existing institutions in Nepal. And these youngsters have taken the law into their own hands. So it's a very fluid situation. One really doesn't know, how it's going to pan out and develop. But it's something that I'm sure that India is also watching very, very carefully.
But do you think that political instability will be there to stay for some time? Because as you said that there is no leader, it's a leaderless movement, what is happening. And do you think some opposition parties, like some of them who are the fringe groups, they may take advantage of this and milk this entire movement?
See, it's very difficult to forecast what will happen in the future, but I just hope that things stabilize. I mean, it's very, very important that things stabilize in Nepal, which is, a neighboring country for India. We have open borders. It's very important for the people of Nepal themselves. And I saw today that the mayor of Kathmandu, who is possibly the most popular politician in Nepal, has made an appeal now asking the people to stay calm and to not take the law into their hands, not damage government property. And now that Prime Minister Oli has resigned, hopefully there'll be movement towards some stability and calm
Do you
within
think
the
it will
country.
calm the nerves? Oli's resignation will calm the nerves a bit?
Well, it's certainly a step in the right direction, and I hope very much that now things will start improving.
But what will be the role of royals now behind the scene?
So the royalists had protested a few months ago quite strongly, and there were some elements of the youth that were supporting the royalists. I think the support that you saw at that time was also because there was so much disenchantment with the existing political leadership in Nepal. So people felt that anything is better than what they have currently. So let's see, how the situation pans out. My own sense is that, as I mentioned, a few names, there are new leaders, that are coming up, and obviously the armed forces of Nepal will have a very major role to play in stabilizing the situation.
This must be a